Hey everybody, how's it going out there? DAP11 here with a video. I wanted to go ahead and show you the action figures from Star Wars that we've picked up this week. So we just came back from Oregon where we enjoyed the solar eclipse. We stayed where the path began on the Pacific West Coast in Depot, Oregon. So we had flown into Portland, and there is a fantastic action figure store called Star Wars Store at 11750 Southeast 82nd Avenue in Happy Valley, Oregon. This family-owned store has absolutely competitive, fantastic prices. So I avoided having to purchase what I'm about to show you on eBay, with the exception of the very last item that I picked up on eBay. So let's begin with the first action figure that we picked up for this action figure haul of the week type of video. Vintage collection, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, Darth Sidious. All right, now I've had my eyes on this figure for quite some time. I think I recall seeing him on a review on MG Villain's YouTube channel, and you got to see his channel because he's got all the killer vintage collection figures and some. But when he zoomed in on the details on Sidious's face, I had to get him. But I attempted so many times to get him on eBay from a bid war, and it just didn't happen. So we saw him at the Star Wars store with a very competitive price. Could get it right there. Don't have to deal with the shipping or nothing like that. So I picked him up. And in the future, I will do a video review on this figure because, as you may or may not know, in my channel I open up and do reviews, and I like putting my stuff in diorama setting and whatnot. So there we go. Finally have my Darth Sidious with the vintage collection. All right, number two. Who do we have next here? I had to pick up a nice Rebel officer here. I don't have many. Actually, I only have one calamari, and that is Akbar, Admiral Akbar. So it's a trap. So I finally have an officer. This is kind of an awkward figure, though. I don't mind, actually, Power of the Jedi, the collection, too. I think that the Bespin figure is really nice, and some of the molds are pretty good. But with this figure, I think the only awkward thing that I can see here are the hips and the groin area. It's just blocky, and the gaps. But I am still nice to have. I'm sorry. It's nice to have and happy with to have this figure. I can expand my Rebel officers now. Something I have, actually, I have what I would consider a fair amount of Imperial officers. So finally expanded with this calamari officer. All right, up next. Now this one I saw on review for on Matawab's channel. So here we have Dannic Jericho, and another figure I saw on one of my friend's channels, and I thought to myself, I've got to get it. So picked him up for $25. You know, protective packaging, don't have to deal with the shipping, and I'm going to open him up anyways, because if you know me, I like my Moise Isley and my Tatooine stuff, so this finally can add on to my Cantina patrons, and really nice figure, actually. So I'm looking forward to doing a review on this one. Protective cover and all, but not going to need him. Need the protective cover. So there we have it. There's number three. All right, now this one I really, really like a lot. So here we have a Legacy Collection, Major Paano. So we have a Build-A-Droid here. I don't have any, or prior to purchasing this guy, I didn't have any of the droid parts. So this is Major Paano BD-20, and the droid on the back is R5C7. So as you can see here, it's a nice looking droid, and Major Paano is a Dresselian tactician who works with General Krykes Madine to plan commando strikes for the Rebel Alliance. He assists Madine in planning the shield generator strike on Endor that helps destroy the second Death Star. So here we have a pretty cool character that I can just throw right in there with Prune Face and the Endor Rebel soldiers and use him in my dioramas. And really nice figure. If you look, you can see he's got the different detailed, various different clothing. Looks like some type of armor underneath. The belt pack has nice detail. Looks like he has great articulation. So I'll look forward to opening this one up and doing a review for you. So, okay. Come on. Oh, there we go. Okay, next up. Now this one you might laugh at. Maybe not. I don't know. So common when he was in the stores. I just never picked him up. Now I do have the original, and that's why I picked him up, because that's the only one I have, and he's pretty beat up. So for $8, I thought, why not? Finally have my Lobot. I had millions of... Well, I had many chances of picking him up in the store. This one and the Trilogy collection. Just never picked him up. Or this is Trilogy, I should say, in the other casing. But he actually looks to be a really nice mold. I like the facial detail. And he's got a computer console. Now, that's kind of funny because he's already got this attachment to his brain, which would give him direct access to Cloud City. So, anyways, it's a nice diorama piece to have. He looks like a pretty good figure, I believe. Maybe he doesn't have all the great articulation that I want, that I desire, but I'm not going to complain because I actually think it's a really nice mold, so I make up for it. So, anyways, there we go. There's Lobot. Can add on to Lando's forces. And speaking of which, I picked up Lando Calrissian in Smuggler outfit. Now, I've been really looking at this guy to try to get him loose, and I figured, they had a few of them. And let me redo this here. There we go. And then, finally picked him up. So I'm happy with it. And I... excuse me. Almost cut myself on that. So I really had a storyline that I have in view for some dioramas. And I felt that I really wanted to include Lando, but in something other than his general outfit and his Cloud City outfit. So I finally picked him up. $12 I think is a good asking price. I avoid shipping, and if I bought it here locally, God knows what I'd pay for it if he was even available. So there we have it, Smuggler outfit, Lando. Okay, let's add on to the Rebel forces. Here we have Rebel Vanguard Trooper, my first one, Star Wars 30th. And again, $12 I picked him up for. I like army builders, I really do. And this is my first Vanguard, and what a cannon. Plus, he's got his blaster pistol, which is cool. And he's got, looks like swivel at the forearms. And he's kind of got a wide stance, but that's fine. I'm glad to have somebody that can take out some, a demolitions expert. Right on. Looking forward to doing a review on this guy in the future. Okay, next up. Let's go with another Rebel officer. General Medin, $8. Now I have the original, and he's actually in fair condition, and I do have his staff, but I really like, he does have a younger look, so I can use the Kenner version for another older officer, and he's got nice detail, I think. Doesn't have all the articulation and whatnot, but that's fine. I think it's a good mold, and the colors are good. And now that I look back at the pictures behind him, these guys, their uniforms look kind of a little bit cheesier on these pictures. Well, I shouldn't clown. Alright, there's our general. Now let's step over to an Imperial officer. Now I have a lot of to me I have a fair number of Imperial officers, but this goofball, Admiral Akbar, who was clumsy and entered into the Haas system and prematurely entered, I should say, the system, alerting the rebels, and then was choked out by Vader. So I finally have him, and honestly, it's the first time I've seen him in the stores or any, I just never looked for this specific character. So I was happy to see him, and I don't recall if he was $8 or 10, but I'm happy to have him. He looks like our typical officers of this time. The swivel is at an ankle, nothing at the knees, but it's just nice to have this character. Okay. Now, let's go with Han Solo in disguise as an ATST engineer or tactician, whatever you want to call him. Engineer, I guess. So he's a driver. There we go. So here we have it. He's got a pretty good facial mode. Facial sculpt. I think. Yeah, pretty good. So, you know, you can set them in the back with my collection of Imperial officers, and you can just blend into the background as another Imperial officer. Though we know it's Han Solo. All right, now to my final pair of action figures that I picked up at Star Wars store. Had to walk away with a comic pack. Okay, so this one I tried to buy a couple times on eBay, and I was just unsuccessful. And I found this one for $20, which is was my cap on eBay, but somebody bid like 21, 22, and I lost it. So pretty cool, huh? And I have recently picked up and reviewed Beso and Mouse in Disguise, and I believe that's I think that might be Empire 38, so the issues go back to back, and I'm happy about that. Again, I could put Luke and Shan, sorry if I mispronounced that, in the background with my Rebel Fleet officer, my Imperial officers, and they could just blend in as the bad guys. So, looking forward to... the zoom won't come undone. There we go. Looking forward to opening this one up, as I am pretty much all of them. And to add these in there with the collection and the dioramas. So what is the last and final thing that I picked up? Not from Star Wars store, but from eBay. Well, there you have it. Right there, my friends. I finally picked up the Death Star. So while we were out and about, I was actually, when we were at the airport or whatever, I saw this one on eBay. It was refurbished, as you can tell. And I really, really dug the look, and I went ahead and bought it before somebody picked it up. Paid $300 for it, so I'm going to definitely have to sacrifice some of my other figures to pay this off. Otherwise, it might take us several years to pay off with eBay. With YouTube. But what I'll do is I'll end up doing a review with the Death Star here, as you can see, is repainted everywhere and some. And the detail is absolutely fantastic. I'm not one to really do a lot of movement with my camera because of the shakiness. Again, I will end up doing a review, but let's just kind of scoot in here so we can take a look. And yes, I could have bought it cheaper, put it together, but I'm new to painting stuff, and I don't have the painting system, which I'm probably going to eventually get. So I have a lot of trial and error to go with. But I'm very impressed. I think it's worth what I paid for it. I'll do a review and you'll see why. But take a look at the detail of some of this. So the control centers here are completely redone, as you can see. I mean, really great detail. I'm very happy with it. So let's take a look at the gun here. You can see that the paint detail is all here. Sorry for the lighting there, my friends. It's from moving around. So you can see there's got fantastic paint detail. A much better paint detail than I'm capable of doing at this time. There we go. There's the control centers and there's the gun. So my first, I figured, my first Death Star, had to get it. These are pretty much brand new. I unfortunately dropped one and it dinged the side of it, which you can't see from here, but it was frustrating to do so nonetheless. So you can see here the paint detail is really, really good. And the cardboard backing is in excellent condition. Now look at these controls. Fantastic, right? So yeah, I picked it up. It got here. A friend of mine went ahead and picked it up off the shelf, off the porch, so it wouldn't get stolen. That's a habit in these areas, even though we're in a newer part of town. Unfortunately, we're victims to that kind of petty theft. So I was very stoked about that. Now look at the paint detail here. Cool, right? Oh, old bin. Sneaking around the corner there. So, and of course I'll just end up doing a review on the entire thing. for us to all take a look at. And then I'll give you the information on the guy's account because he's an experienced seller, and you should see some of the other stuff he sells. It's like awesome stuff. So his handcrafted stuff, I vouch for it. This is just really good stuff. I'm impressed. I like it. But there you go, my friends. That was the action figure haul of the week. So there we have the figures that have just kind of piled there. And the 10 figures along with Death Star here. So, hey, there we have it. It was a great weekend. I enjoyed the solar eclipse. I hope that you did too. Unfortunately, I know that there were those who had overcast in their areas, my hometown being one of them. And I happened to go somewhere to enjoy it where there's normally an overcast right off the coast. And so it just seems like the weather pattern swapped. Sorry. But worked out for us. Anyways, this is what we picked up. I'll do some reviews in the future. I also have some requests that I'll fulfill finally. Stay tuned for more, and if you don't mind, hey, give me a like. I'd appreciate that. And if you have requests, please just hit me up in the comments section. I'll do what I can to accommodate. Sometimes I get set back a little bit, but thanks for your time, everybody. And until next time, may the Force be with you.